Okay, moving right along. So we know how to validate our page. Let's add some more text. Let's say after my name at the top, and actually I'm going to take off resume here and just put my name. Let's say I want to put my title after my name on the next line down. Well, if I just come here and type Associate Professor, Brigham Young University, Provo, Utah 84604. Okay, let's save this and see what this is about to look like here in our browser. So Command S, Control S, nope. All right, there, come back to the resume page, refresh it. All right, what's going on here? Homer Simpson, I've got a double space after it, but it put all this text on different lines. Well, if you remember from a couple videos ago, the reason why is I told you that HTML ignores white space. Now, in this case, in my editor, it's actually, it's black space because my background's black, but it ignores space in general. Why then is Homer Simpson on one line and the rest of this on a different line? Well, each HTML element has a definition. And the definition of H4 is that the text should be, let's see, default size. That's the same size as the rest. However, it does bold that text. And also, all H heading elements add a double space after it automatically. Well, this information right here is not wrapped in any tag at all. I put it directly in the body. Is that allowed? Well, let's check and find out. Let's copy our code. Let's go back to our validator again that we used in the last video. Command A, paste. Let's check it. That work? It should be fine. There we go. Yep. Everything's good. No errors or warnings. So if you've learned HTML before, you might be surprised at that. That's because the new HTML5 standard, it is okay to have content directly in the body that's not wrapped in an element. Older standards used to not allow that. All right, so that's fine. Then why isn't it working? Well, it's because, like I said, it ignores white space, which means just because I put this on a separate line doesn't mean it's actually going to go on a separate line. So what I need to do is use the BR tag. So again, because we're no longer following the old XHTML or HTML 4.0 standard, or the XHTML standard, I don't have to make this a self-closing tag. Some people ask me, well, wait, don't I need that at the end? No, you don't, not anymore, not with HTML5. So BR stands for break, simple as that, line break. Now, you might notice this is a bit different, though, from our other elements. What's different about it? Well, it doesn't have a closing tag. Like everything else, there's a beginning and an end to this H4. Well, with a line break, it doesn't make sense to have a closing tag. It's just a line break. There's no beginning and end to a line break. So no need to waste a space. All right, let's save that and go back and see what this does. Go back to my actual web page. There we go. All right, there we go. Puts it on separate lines. So back to my code. Let me make this point a little bit clearer. When I say that white space is ignored, I can literally, now don't do this, just follow along with me. I can literally put all of this stuff here on one line. And it makes no difference whatsoever. All right, so let me save that and show you what I mean. Resume, here we go, refresh. Everything looks just like it did before. So what is the point then of all this tabbing and extra lines and moving things in? By the way, we call this nesting. When I take these this head tag that's inside the HTML tag and move it in here, I'm nesting these elements. The only purpose is to make the code readable. Can you put everything on one line? Yes, but future editors of your website will curse your name for making your code so difficult to edit. So what we do instead is we use white space, or blank space I should call it, to our advantage. Anything inside the HTML element is now a child of the HTML element. Head is a direct child. Body is a direct child. Title is a grandchild of HTML and a child of head. And so for every child element, we tab it in or space it in. It doesn't matter how far in you go. You just need to follow a standard and stick to it to make it readable and editable for other developers. So most people will use just the tab key for each level in. Now you might be asking yourself, well, wait a minute, why didn't you break out title? Whoops. Like this, and H4 like this, because my resume and Homer Simpson, they're the content or the lowest child element of the tags above them. Well, the reason why is at some point it becomes a little bit overboard. I mean, if I know there's going to be no other tags inside of a tag, then I'm happy to leave it on one line, beginning and ending on the same line with the content in the middle. Again, there's no rules for this. You can follow whatever the rule you want. The key is you should be consistent, though. You should always do it the same way for anyone else, including yourself, who's going to edit this code in the future. Okay, so that's it for blank space, nesting, and line breaks.